Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Iron Panther Presents. Today, Stacey and I shall be discussing the Netflix limited series referred to as Behind Her Eyes from the Brits. And it came to us on the Netflix. And let me say, this was an awesome story. It really was. As Stacey said, David, the end is what it's all about. And I was falling asleep when I was watching most of it because I was tired. I was home from work and shit. But when I saw the end, I was like, what the? And I had to be like, okay, now my mind, everything's changing. Like it came together, but it went different directions, but it came together. So what is this story about? What is behind her eyes? The answer is Robert. That's the answer. This is a love story. This is a love story that expanded to 3 lifetimes. Robert. This all goes back to a man named Robert. He's a gay man. Robert is also a heroin addict. Therefore, he is put into rehab. At rehab, he meets Adele. All right. So Adele is the white woman. All right. So he meets the white woman, Adele, who is filthy rich, apparently, a pyromaniac, and also someone who learns how to leave her body. My point is, Robert meets Adele and falls in love with Adele. He loves Adele. They're best friends until Adele introduces Robert to her fiance, David, the big, tall, handsome Scottish man behind Stacey right there, who's looming over her like he's about to jump on her, like he's about to mount her from the back, which we will get to that in a moment. But anyway, so once Robert sees David, Robert says, that's the man of my dreams for the rest of my life and in the other lives I can get my hands on. So Robert kills Adele, jumps into her body. Then he marries David. Then the marriage gets kind of fucked up for a while. So basically, Robert, as Adele, spends most of his time getting high on heroin and stopping any other woman from getting to David, because that is true love. He loves this man to the point that David has to move a few times because Robert does some wild shit as Adele. And then David, for some reason, is like, he's still stuck in this, I hate this woman, I'm still stuck in this marriage. Anyway, he meets Louie at a bar, the beautiful black woman, right there. Right there. A single mother who, for some reason, has not thought about dating anybody till she sees a man at a bar, not asking him any personal questions whatsoever, because all that matters is that he's tall and good looking. Anyway,
and Scottish.
Huh?
And Scottish.
And Scottish, because she loves that accent, which is almost kind of racist, actually. If you say it to a Latino woman, that's like...
They said a lot of racist stuff about Scottish people in this movie.
Yeah.
He's always angry and he's mean, and I'm like, damn.
Damn, do you say you're an alcoholic too? Yeah, Scots get shit on in the UK, really. Anyway, I'm getting off track. My point is, Robert as Adele figures out that his husband David is fucking Louis. So then Robert says, no woman is coming between me and my David. So then Robert kills Louis, then takes over Louis's body, and then Louis/Robert marries David again.
With kid in tow.
With the kid who's like, hey, mom, you don't like boats. And Robert's like, things change, motherfucker. Like I was like, oh shit.
Surprised he didn't kill the kid.
Adam's gonna have that cruise. Adam ain't coming back. Like, so Robert, this is all about Robert and his undying love for David.
Yeah.
Stacey, why in the world did you watch this? What was going through you?
I was bored, and I was like, I have bouts of insomnia, so I try to pick stuff that's kind of boring, but interesting enough to watch, but boring enough that I may fall asleep. Like, so I was like, me and British shows, it's like a love-hate relationship. So I figured, okay, this looks interesting enough yet boring enough that it'll put me to sleep. Well, 3 episodes in, I was still awake because I was like, where is this going? And I thought it was going to be the stereotypical, man meets woman, has a wife, side chick gets a little crazy, or the wife gets crazy. But they were both kind of crazy already. She was definitely crazy. She was a little wonky. So it definitely didn't go the direction that I was expecting. I was thinking Fatal Attraction, Fatal Affair, Fatality, the stupid stuff, but no.
So when you told me about this story, Stacey, I totally agree that this is when I was like, oh, this is Fatal Attraction. This is, Fatal Affair. I got it. And I didn't. Like, I was like, what is happening? Because it's mostly told from Louis' point of view. So by the way, when you ask, for example, well, who's the villain? Like, who's the victim in this thing? Robert is definitely the villain, right? But it's all for love. Like, he murdered two people. He did. These two women right here. Adele was the first victim and really the only victim in this situation, because now she's dead at the bottom of the well in Robert's body. Louis, on the other hand, is not a victim. This is told from her point of view, but everything that happens to her is 100% her fault. Like, her friend and David told her several times to leave Adele and the shit alone.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
And she did not listen to anyone.
She thought she was being a friend, though. She was like, oh, she doesn't have any friends. And I'm her only friend.
Then she thought she was saving her soon lover David from this crazy wife Adele. Then she thought this woman committed several felonies. This is in the UK. I'm still. I don't know that maybe it's called high crimes over there. But she broke into her ex-boss's office because David is her boss. So she's fucking the boss and friending his wife. She breaks into David's office to steal his confidential file about Adele. She breaks into their house not once, but twice, trying to save Adele, who looks like she's, she is unconscious, because we figure out that it's Robert who's left the body and out there running around London, looking for David. When where the fuck is David? Like, where was David in the last few minutes in the whole last episode when Robert is orchestrating his next murder swap? Like,
because he just popped up at the end, like,
hey, what's been going on?
My wife's dead? Great. Now I can run off with Louis.
To show you he did not give two fucks.
Not at all.
So Robert, this is what I understand. So somehow Robert manipulates Louis into figuring out how to astral project herself. Okay. The second time, Louis breaks into Adele's house because it's on fire. She tries to get through the door. She makes no effort to call the authorities, call the fire department, call the police. Instead, she breaks into this woman's house. She tries to get in.
She tries to.
But somehow she thinks my astral self is going to carry Adele out of this house.
I have no idea what the... Because at first I thought, okay, she's going to try to break in. Old girl's going to die. She's going to be on the hook for the murder. But when her spirit left her body, I was like, what does she think she's doing?
And at this point, she's figured out what Adele's been doing. She thinks Adele has figured out how to leave her body because Robert gave his diary to Louis as Adele. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, Louis' spirit doesn't see Robert's spirit up there, because at one point they were like hovering near each other over the bed. Then Robert somehow knew all this was going to happen because he just knew how predictable and stupid Louis was, that eventually she would come back to the house, try to break in the house and try to save Adele, that he swoops into Louis' body. How does that automatically cause Louis to go into Adele's body? I don't understand that.
The only thing I can think of is if Louis thought that Adele was gone out of her body. So it's an empty body. So she's like, okay, I can hop in her body, wake up, run out the house, and then come outside. And then the body will be outside. And then she can hop back into her own body. And then Adele / Rob may return at some point.
So yeah, that made no damn. It made no sense. And let's go down this route, right? Let's say that was Louis' plan. Why didn't Louis just jump the back the fuck out? Like, why did she like, oh, this ain't it? Does she really have to touch her fingers and shit? That's the only way to unlock a body. Like, once you get in, the door's locked until you move your fingers and get the hell out. Like, why did she just jump out? How was Robert inside Louis' body able to unlock the door when Louis inside Louis' body wasn't able to unlock the door?
How was Robert inside?
When Robert got into Louis' body, he got up, unlocked the door, went upstairs, and finished killing herself / Louis. She put the, remember? Like she that's what I'm saying. So how did Robert inside Louis get upstairs when Louis couldn't even get upstairs?
Maybe he had it rigged that only he can open it. Like it's maybe like a tap wiggle. You know how some people have like the lock, you gotta jiggle it. Like
but Louis broke the same window she broke the first time.
But it's just the lock. The lock, you gotta jiggle it.
No, man, it don't make no damn sense. Like it was cool, but it made no sense. And then Louis died. Louis died not knowing who she was looking at. Like she really still thought it was Adele. I think she thought Adele was killing her.
That is creepy. Like you're in somebody else's body, and you're looking at yourself. Like what's happening?
What happened? I mean, and then David knows nothing. So also you got to think that the original Adele met Robert. Robert was a heroin addict. When Robert took Adele's body, Adele became a heroin addict,
mm-hmm.
which is why David all of a sudden acts like he's helping the community, trying to help addicts. Please note that he did not do one outreach mission. He just said that because he was going to start fucking Louis, and he needed a reason to be out the house.
So he knew she was on heroin at that point, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Because remember the flashback when when Robert really tells David that she killed Robert, tells David that she killed Robert. She said that he got me hooked on heroin. He like, I tried it with him.
Yeah, I do.
Remember? And he was like, I can't believe you did all that bullshit. Anyway, so that makes excuse of why she's been doing heroin all this time, right? But what happens when Louis all of a sudden starts doing heroin?
Yeah, she's gonna have to hide it.
And the toes knows. Did you ever watch a show called Wise Guy on CBS back in the day? It was an undercover cop show. The reason I bring it up is because Kevin Spacey played one of the villains in this stuff, and he that's how he did heroin. He shot up heroin between his toes, and his phrase was the toes knows, and I was like, oh, I mean, he wasn't Kevin Spacey then. No, he was just a dude. But I was like, so maybe this is a thing that writers, that all writers know. Just like you get the arm sling, you know what I'm saying? Like you get the blanket when you go to the. Oh, that's another thing. Where was Adele's Louis? Where was Louis' blanket?
Yeah.
When the authorities finally came,
maybe this is a U.S. thing.
Oh, it's not, the Brits don't do the blankets. Who called them?
They probably saw the fire or smelled the fire.
Did Robert / Louis call him after he got done killing Adele / Louis? I was like, shh.
Could be.
Because Robert was he was getting her act together. He was like, all right. Should I be happy? Should I be sad? How do I be sad? Do I be happy? Do I be sad?
She was like,
just like, let's go with it. He's like, let's go with this. So when you see the initial body swap between Robert and Adele, because Adele showed Robert how to leave his body, how to astral project, right? And then Robert somehow came up with the idea that night, and he already shot himself up with enough heroin that he knew his body was dying, I guess, at that moment, and was like, "Hey, Adele, how about we switch bodies? How about you? I know you had a man inside you before." Her response should have been, "I know you had a man inside you before too." Never mind. Sorry, my bad. Anyway, somehow Robert, being the master manipulator that he was, got Adele to switch bodies that night. And then all of a sudden, she's like, "I can't get out of this heroin addicted body. I can't get out." And Robert was like, "Bye, bitch. I want your man. I want your man." And then they showed the picture where he took the picture, the digital picture of them two, and he was just looking at David like, "Oh, look at this beautiful, tall Scottish man." I was like,
I'm surprised he did like cut her face off and put his face on her.
well, it was digital. But yeah, right. That would have been awesome. Well, he did what at best he could. He like blew it up just to focus on David. But it's only after you know the twist of this story that if you go back to the first episode, you start seeing what's happening. That when David and Adele / Robert show up to the office for the first time, Robert says, "I want to see my husband's office. I need to be able to visualize it." So that means that Robert left his Adele body, flew to David's office and was watching him every day, listening to him talk to Louis about what they did, not giving any kind of details, just talking very vague. So then Robert was like, "This motherfucker has tried this again. He's trying to sleep around on me again."
Because there was chicks before.
A chick. We only know about the one white chick in the last town. And I was like, so I'm like, leave it. Oh, okay. Let's talk about positions. In the first episode, we see that David is so not in love with his wife, who is attractive. I mean, it's not like, I mean, she's physically attractive, you know what I'm saying? That he's like, "Girl, I can't even get an erection looking at you. Like, I have to turn my head when I'm inside you." To the point that Robert, Adele, says, "Well, I'll just turn around. Maybe doggy style will do it for him," which seems to be working for a little bit. But then he starts talking, you know what I'm saying? Then Adele starts talking. He's like, "Ah, shit, why you got David?" David somewhere's like, "World, just don't talk, because I can close my eyes and picture the woman I met at the bar who's much darker than you are." I'm not even sure how that works, but ultimately, David's penis was like, "Nah, this ain't it." And Robert's constantly like, "I love you. I love you." Like, Robert really loves David, who treats him like shit. Like
he don't like dudes. Like, what do you want him to do?
Well, I mean, David don't know he's sleeping with a dude. I mean, he's sleeping with Adele. He's sleeping with a woman.
And that was confusing because it was like almost like he knew, but not really.
What he knows was his wife Adele killed her parents through a pyromaniac accident going wrong, got his arm burnt, David's arm burnt. Then Adele kills her friend Robert, and now David has to somehow not even help cover up the body, but now stuck with her because Robert died with David's watch on his wrist, which somehow ties him to the body for some damn reason, which makes no damn sense. Then Adele stalks this woman at a cafe for even talking to David. So Adele has done a lot of shit that he's like, "I'm tired of you, but I'm stuck with you."
Right.
But anyway, so my question is, the idea of "you don't want to look at me while we having sex," that is doggy style really that kind of disrespectful to be like, "I don't want to look at you"? Like, what's your general thoughts?
I've never looked at it that way. It's just a different angle to
Right.
me. But I can see if you didn't want to look at somebody, that would be a good way to kind of accomplish the deed.
I mean, face down, ass up takes a whole different meaning at that point. It's like, I just want
you do the old paper bag trick.
I guess I'm saying, like, how do you know? Like, how do you know your partner is asking for doggy because they don't want to look at your face, as opposed to they just like it from the back?
I have no idea. I don't know why he was so unable to perform from this angle, but okay. Well, if you're gonna toot it up, then I'll take it.
So you remember the same thing happened with Ghost. I told you same thing happened with Ghost and Tasha. Ghost turned Tasha around. He was like, I can't look at you right now. But he's like, from the back is fine.
And maybe that's what I was thinking. Like maybe he was visualizing Louis.
Yeah, he was. He was.
Okay. And
That's what
kind
I believe anyway. That's what I believe. He just got done
helped him.
meeting Louis, so he was
Yeah.
like, "Let me close my eyes and picture that woman I met at the bar."
Mm-hmm.
That's rough. But so clearly, there's many signs of men doing that to a woman. I just wonder if women ever do that to a man. If they're fucking somebody like, I got to do this, but I just don't want to look at this dude, and they like,
I can see that happening. Mm-hmm.
that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So when Angie was fucking Greg, though, she was definitely thinking about Ghost, and she said, "Do me from the back." Remember?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It always comes back to power anyway. If you watch our reviews, just accept that. All right. So anyway, so this is based on a book. What's up with the book, Stacey? What'd you find out about the book?
I mean, basically, the book is pretty true to form to the movie. Where did the book go? Okay.
Okay. Well, Terry told me that in the book, Louis is white. Like Louis not black. So they made a casting choice to make her black, which I like the fact that had nothing to do with the story. Like she could have been any race, and it wouldn't change the story at all. This was not an issue of David wanting to try some chocolate or something, or that Adele was like, "Why are you fucking this black whore?" Like none of that came up. He was a man in a loveless or one way loveless marriage who didn't want his wife anymore, that found a new woman. My thing is, you meet someone at a bar, you talk to them, you have drinks, you like each other. There's some basic ass questions that you should ask to make sure you're not sitting with a serial killer or someone who's married. Damn it. Like, what's your name? Oh, you moved here. What do you do? Oh, really? You're a psychiatrist. I work for a psychiatrist. I'm a secretary for a psychiatrist. Really? Well, yeah, I'm about to work in this. How do you not ask these basic ass questions, Louis?
They were so enthralled with each other that they just stared at each other's eyes.
She was so amazed by the accent. She was like, "Oh, I never had a Scottish man." Is it true what they say about Scottish men? I thought she was gonna say some stupid shit like that. I don't know what they say about Scottish men, but I thought since obviously he was being discriminated against like a black person, I thought it'd be like it'd be interesting if they would have went that route. You know, it would have been like, hey, you know what they say about black men. I'm just saying, she saw a tall Scottish man, angry, always angry all the time. You know what I'm saying? Violence. You know what I'm saying? Okay, maybe I went too far on that one. All right, it's fine. It's fine. I see your face. Maybe I should have said all that. My point is, it would be interesting that he is from Scotland. If she would have said that with her white friend, she stood up there with the white girl and she was like, "So he's Scottish, huh?" You know what they say about the Scottish men? That could have been a thing. Anyway,
if it was an American movie, I could totally see that happening.
But in the UK, Scottish, that's like a whole different thing. Like they don't see them as like really what they fight a lot over that. Like they're part of the United Kingdom, but they ain't really like there. Anywho, my point is, ask some basic.
Sean Connery references. Wasn't he Scottish?
Yeah, that would have been good. That's right.
And fond of abusing women.
Oh yeah, that was some wild shit. But let's not. He's dead now, so let's not get through all that. Let's act like he didn't say that because he did though. I'll watch that. Anyway, my point is, Louis, before you kiss a man, you might want to know his name and some basic shit. So when you go to work the next day and you see him sitting there with his wife, you ain't like, oh my God.
Hide in the bathroom all day. She had to hide in the bathroom all day.
I know, dude. I mean, her life is just constantly fucked up. I mean, it's just one. And she never finished a cigarette. She's constantly smoking. She never finished a cigarette. It was always like almost out. She just started it. I was like, what's the point of all that? Her baby daddy moving on in life. You know what I'm saying? Because I love that. I love that she was like, this relationship with you, David, is kind of real fucked up because my baby daddy left me for somebody he was fucking at work. I was like, well,
and yet you choose to be the one that he leaves his wife for.
But like a lot of mistresses, Louis thought she was the only one, that she was special. Until she found out about the white girl in the city before. And she was not happy with that. Like, she was like, what? I was not the first one? No, why would you think that? Like, I don't understand why Miss Angie does that shit. Like, Olivia Pope did that dumb shit.
The dudes be saying, I love you. oh, you're the only one for me. Oh, she was a mistake. Oh.
But just you, something about you makes me, I want to leave I'm going to leave and cheat and lie to my wife. But you, I'm going to be faithful to. You, I'm going to be honest with. That's not how that bullshit works. Like, think about that. Anyway, so Lou was very upset when she found out about the other woman. Then she all of a sudden Dave was a lying piece of shit at that point. Then she wanted to help Adele. And she was like, oh, I'm going to help Adele because she's with me. Why was David drugging Adele? What exactly was he trying to control with the drugs? Was it the heroin? Huh?
I don't know.
She was basically on house arrest.
Yeah, until he gave her a cell phone and she actually went out and ventured out and about.
And he was like, nah, bitch, you at home when I call you. She was on house arrest and medicated. Like David was controlling. Like, why would Robert stay with him?
Because he loved it.
How do you fall in love with over a weekend? Like he spent maybe a week in the cottage with them. And all of a sudden he's like, this is the most beautiful man I've ever
seen. Look at him. He's tall. He's Scottish. He was going to inherit all Adele's money. Like, why not?
Well, Robert gave her that money. Gave David that money, actually, at that point, right? No, it happened right because they weren't even married yet. So I would imagine Robert is the one that gave David that money when they got married. It wasn't his money, it was really Adele's money.
So when he took over Adele's, he got everything she had.
But then he gave it to David, though.
Because he loves him.
Dude, I'm like, what does David have? What is about him that women just be like, you can take whatever you want? It was a lot going on. But this should have been a movie. This should have been about 2 hour, maybe 2.5 hour movie. That would have been a lot, but 2 hour movie. This should not have been 6 hours. It was a lot of nothing, after a while. I have to say. Because Adele, her eyes, the actress, she gave a good portrayal of I'm deadly. Like every time she looked into the camera like this, like I was like, oh shit, she's about to kill somebody. Like she's got bodies behind her. And Louis don't know that.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna go crazy, but she was just having nightmares.
Robert,
that's all it was. No, she was having nightmares. Remember?
Oh, Louis was talking about Louis. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why she talked to Adele, and she was like, "Okay, let me tell you what you do." And he set her up to learn how to leave her body.
That's right.
So go to her happy place with her and what's the little boy's name? Adam. Ooh.
Did you see how Robert? You see how Robert fantasized about a big, strong, naked black man cooking for him? I was like, what? Like he and Adele, the real Adele, they were like having lunch or whatever, and like this black man was cooking for them, and then he was wearing the apron, and when the guy turned around, he was butt naked in the back. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, this is too much. Like I didn't see that coming. I didn't want to see it coming when it came. I was like,
coming or going, huh?
Oh, yeah. How does Robert feel getting penis as a woman? Like, I wonder how. Like, was that?
He enjoys it.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's gonna keep on doing it, I guess. So is this how it's gonna be everywhere? David will never be able to leave Robert. Like he's like
he has to kill now Louis. He got to kill her some type of way. And even if he kills her, her spirit kind of just wander around until it can find a new body, and then.
No. Robert has to have a place to go. Like, and he already has to be out the body. That's not how it works. It seems like you got to be out of the body before death starts, because then you're stuck in it, or something. Okay. Why didn't Robert figure out how to merge his spirit with David inside David? I don't know. That's the thing.
You're gonna be somebody that you're in love with.
That's how one they are. He's like, I want to be inside you, David.
So when he masturbates, he's having sex with David.
Well, at some point, like none of this makes any realistic sense. I'm just saying, but he could be like, I want to be so close to you that I'm going to try. That he tried to merge. I don't know. I'm saying. Also, once you know the truth, and once you know the twist that this is all Robert, like hovering above people. If you go back and watch the whole thing, every time the camera angle is down, it's all Robert. It's all Robert. Every time David was fucking Louis, and she was like riding him all naked, and it was Kim. That was Robert. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. First time they had sex and they were at the house, and he takes a shower, and she's like, "Oh, you're washing me off? Is
Yeah,
he
bitch.
supposed to go home smelling like your cooter to
Yeah.
his wife?" Like, who writes this stuff?
That's real life though. I mean, I can see a woman saying that dumb shit. I mean,
It's like,
because she thinking, oh, this is special. No, you're not fucking special. Also, thank you for that segue. So when I think her friend or David asked her, like, why is it you don't date? Why haven't you dated since your baby daddy? And she's like, I tried, but all these men want to do is fucking leave. What do you think David did? He fucked you and he left. I mean, just because you see him at work, because he's your boss, don't mean he's talking to you. Like, that don't count. Like, I'm like, what? And then I guess she hasn't had penis in so long. She's like, I gotta stay with this. Like, I gotta do whatever I gotta do to keep this, I guess.
It was the best shit ever. So
Something. I mean, maybe she was better than her baby daddy. I don't know. But I was like, yeah, I was like, you acting kind of like you never had a man before, ever. Like, in any way. And this ain't a good look.
And she got hella free time. She only worked 3 days a week. Drop the kid off at school, go on some dates. Do your thing.
Exactly. You got a whole summer. Like, have a hot girl summer. Like, go out there and meet some dudes. You have one accidental meeting with a guy at a bar, and he's already about to fall in love with you. He's about to leave his wife for you. I mean, he wanted to leave his wife anyway. I mean, you just happen to be the woman. But my point is, you were good enough for him to be like, I'm gonna start fucking this woman. I mean, over my wife. So I'm like, it wasn't like she was unattractive. It's not like, she couldn't try to go out there and get a man. But she's like, no, my wife is my little son Adam, who's about to, it's like, hey, mom, I thought he was going to come home from France and be like, I'm out, mom. I'm going to go stay with dad and his new wife.
How you say adios in French?
Yeah, right. He's like, because they got a pool, mom. They must be balling.
I was like, I'll be trying to go to France too, especially your mama crazy.
Right. Like, go. I mean, I was like, Adam should have been like that. I want to stay in the house that's much bigger. Her husband, her baby daddy got a house. Not an apartment where she has to dry clothes on the balcony. He's doing much, much, much better in life than she is. So I'm like, Dad, I'm gonna stay in the stable home, Mom, with like a house and like a washer and dryer and France and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, let that dad be a dad, because now he's about to start a whole new family.
Well, I'm surprised. Robert didn't say, hey, ex-husband, since you like the kids so much, you can keep them, because me and my new husband about to be out.
I thought I was about to go that route. I thought that was. I'm sure the story would have continued. He would, if Adam don't have an accident on their honeymoon, he's going to baby daddy. Like that. There ain't no way in the world Robert's gonna start taking. And what's gonna happen when Louis all of a sudden is a heroin addict? You can't change your mannerisms. You know what I'm saying? Like, Robert is going to be a heroin addict. Robert's constantly going to be like, I love you, David. I love you, David. You want to try a doggy tonight? I know how you like it. Like, how you know that? What are you talking about? No, I like looking at you. And then when is David now all of a sudden not going to start fucking around on Louis? Is he also going to be faithful?
She going to be overbearing and crazy, and he going to start like noticing stuff, and he going to try to medicate her. And he's like, damn, I just have no luck with women. No, you have no luck with Robert.
I mean, a lot of people feel like they keep on dating the same person. David,
they do.
Fact,
they typically do.
So like when he comes home and Louis has that Stepford wife dinner all laid out for him, he's gonna be like, oh shit, Adele did the same shit. Why didn't Robert try to take over that white girl's body?
Well, I don't think Robert was in love with her though. Like, he's in love with Louis. So Robert wants to be loved by David. He wasn't in love with the other girl. He was just like,
they just met.
Bored and lonely.
All right. So okay, because I don't think they were even really together. I mean, like the way I didn't right. Robert just don't want any woman around David. I thought Robert might try to kill the old lady. What happened to some things were just unnecessary. Like the crazy patient that was all obsessive over David. Everybody just wants David. But I'm like, and that became wild. I thought maybe Adele / Robert was going to kill him, but then he's the one that snitched on Luke. But Robert already knew about Louis, so there was no snitching. You know what I'm talking about? The guy in the trench coat, the guy that showed up that was all almost like about to hurt Louis at the thing, right? And he says, I gotta talk to Dave. First, he didn't want to be there. Then he was court ordered to be there. And then I thought in episode 5, that was the guy that told Adele that David was with Louis, I thought. Anyway, he just seemed unnecessary. The baby daddy was unnecessary. That really didn't change anything.
I guess because she was the mom and they needed the son to be out of the picture while David bangs her brains out.
Gotcha.
So daddy had to come scoop up the kid and take him to Perry.
Gotcha.
So she can get her groove back.
Yeah. And then how did Robert?
Otherwise, he would be like, yes, the rest of the kids. Like, where is that damn kid? What's the kid from Ruthless that we never see while a girl getting banged?
Yep. Like, where the damn kid? Where's that son at? Fucking yeah, that's right. The mom getting banged all night by the co-workers, and son just in the house with gunshots and shit going off. He never comes downstairs, never wakes up. At least that's right. At least Adam was present, okay, and acknowledged. So once again, much better than the other shit we watched. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I was like, I don't know. I was like, what Adam got to do with it? But he was a cute little boy. So it was cool.
Smart. He looked at his mom like, "You're not my mother."
Hey, how does Robert know how to deal with black hair?
Yeah.
I mean, that shit's gonna be wild. I mean, he's gonna be like, I seriously have no clue what to do with this stuff up here. Like, I was like, is that hairstyle gonna be changing? And he's gonna all of a sudden at some point though, let's go back to Adele, right?
I mean, her hair looks a hot mess right here anyway, so it's like, what else?
What damn?
She just look in this picture, like.
That's rough. That's rough. I'm just her hairdo at the end definitely changed. But I'm like, is that because Robert don't know what to do with black hair? Is he gonna have to like Google that? Like, I mean, there's some shit he's gonna have to learn, about that in particular. But David with Adele as Robert, right? There had to be things in their teenage years that Robert didn't know. There had to be things that again, Adele, you don't like this. You don't like that. Why are you doing this now? Why are you acting like this now? It had to be.
He probably blamed it on meds or depression or whatever.
All right.
And did they never have a kid because, like, his inner male blocked the sperm or, like, her ovaries weren't working because of his male spirit? I don't know.
Maybe, well, David. Well, no, that's David. I'm saying David was like, I really want a child. Like he was like, when he heard like Louis had a child, he was like, oh, like I can have a child in my life or something. I think maybe with Adele, I think once she killed Robert and then she stalked the other woman. Like he's like, I ain't trying to do this shit. Like he barely want to have sex with her. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like making a kid with her, and then we really be stuck together. I mean, so maybe he just couldn't get it up anymore. So I mean, it just wasn't working. I don't know, man. Dog style only goes so far. Sorry, man. So Adele / Robert can like beat him off one night, steal the sperm like being Mary Jane.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
If this was directed by Tyler Perry, she would have just been sucking him off the whole time.
I'm surprised Tyler Perry hasn't figured this out. Like, how I can have my gay loving, but in a straight relationship? I'll put a man in a woman and then have that man.
Don't give him no ideas because he will probably try this.
Okay, now we're getting off track. Would you be interested in the season 2 to see if Robert gets away with this stuff?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Only if Adam becomes like a little sleuth. He's like, I know it's not my mother. I gotta avenge my mother's death or something.
Yeah.
If it goes that direction, it might be worth the watch.
Yeah, you're right. Because Terry was
maybe he learns how to astral project and turns himself into his mother.
No, that's definitely not okay. His mother's spirit is gone. So even if he fights and kills Robert spiritually, his mom is dead. I mean, she ain't coming back. So that ain't solving nothing.
Maybe he'll go to like Black Box and try to.
That's what I said. Like Robert does that. Like Robert does that to David, and then like he's sitting in his head. That's also in Black Mirror. Actually, also.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's probably where you want to go with that. Well, like because like when the black dude's fiance died, and then the doctor stuck the woman in his head. He had to go the rest of a lot of years with his wife up here. And then she had to watch him fall in love with his neighbor. I was like, oh shit, death to you part means something. There's a reason. There's a reason why at some point you got to be like, it was good, but it's time for you to go. Like, got to peace out. Robert figures out that David figures out that somehow it's all been Robert. The one guy he met over a weekend took over his girlfriend's body, and then now his new girlfriend's wife's body, and then kills them both. Like he takes Louis/David back to the well, and he just throws him and her in there. It's like, you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna be down there like together. Like I'm tired of this. And and maybe that in his way, David like reunites with Adele, the real Adele, at the bottom of the well. That would have been a good ending. That would have been if all this went back to the well. I would have liked that. Would have made a good way to tie this up, I think. Because if you got to remember, every time we saw the well, it seemed like for no reason. When we saw Robert's body at the bottom for no reason, that was Robert going back to the well and revisiting the scene of the crime. And his own body.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because you can't go back to places you've never been.
Exactly. Because that's what I was like. Then how the hell was Robert tracking David? Like, how did he know so much about Louis? But that's because I didn't watch the first episode, and then it's only after this. And then it's only after you see then you go back and you're like, oh, again, for Adele to be like, I need to see his office. Like that's a must right now. And then she went to Louis's place and gave her the book. Why? So she knew what it looked like, so she could go and stalk it and be like, "You fucking my man, you lousy."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And remember when Lou was like, Adele, and then Adele called her.
Yeah.
Like, oh, are you looking for me? Like,
I know you here, bitch.
Like, what is happening?
Like, get out right there. She should have been like, I'm done, Adele. You can have David. There's other tall Scottish men out there. I'll just go to Scotland and go to the motherland and find me a Scottish. Like, what? You don't need this one. There's other ones out there. Shit. Even more dumbass Louis goes to this woman's house /man and be like, I'm gonna break in this house again and commit more felonies to save. What are we doing? All that to say, I still want your husband, though. I mean, I know I saved your life and everything. Can I have your husband now? No, bitch. I want you. No, I'm gonna kill you. Anyway, all right. Anything else?
Stop screwing other people's husband, boys and girls.
That's what you take away from this. Stop. Leave married men alone. Shit. It doesn't work out for you. Okay. If he doesn't kill you, if the wife doesn't kill you, the gay man inside the wife is going to kill you. It doesn't work out for the mistress. That's really the takeaway. 9 times out of 10, it don't work out for the mistress. Fatal Attraction, Fatality, Fatal Affair. Just pick your movie. It never works out for the mistress. Now, even in this story, Louis's baby daddy, his mistress that he fucked around with Louis on, he didn't even stay with her. He moved on to the next woman. So it didn't work out for her either. To further prove the point.
Yes.
All right then, guys. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you're still watching this video, we appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. But again, this is social media. Let's be social. Please like the video, comment on the video, share the video. Let us know what you thought about Behind Her Eyes. What do you think of this review? What other British / TV shows do you think we should watch? I'm not doing the Midwives. I'll tell you that shit right now. It's too many seasons. Terry's watching that. I'm not. It's too much. It's just babies, hot water, and towels. All that shit is like every single episode. Yeah. We got a lot more things coming for you. And we will see you again. But as always, as Jerry Springer says, take care of yourselves and each other. Don't be a mistress. All right, there you go.